Hey everyone, Derek here with Tap and Turn Gaming, coming at you today with an EDH deck tech in another installment of our episodes of Battling with a Budget. I almost said bullet. Battling with that bullet. But this is Battling with a Budget. Now, as you can see, this is Tibor and Lumia for Caleb McCall. He wanted to see what we could do with Tibor and Lumia, and he gave us a spending budget of $150. So, we actually end up coming in at around 125, so there is a lot of room for him to go in and do some upgrades to this deck. This is more or less just what we came up with, talking about it real quick. But it was Battling with a Budget, Tibor and Lumia for Caleb for $150 or less. So we'll take a look at the deck and what we came up with, and we'll take a look at the general first and see what the general does for us. So, Tibor and Lumia is a 4-cost, 2 blue and a red, 3/3 human wizard that says whenever you play a blue spell, target creature gains flying until end of turn, and whenever you play a red spell, Tibor and Lumia deals 1 damage to each creature without flying. So if you play a blue-red spell, you can give a creature flying and deal 1 damage to all creatures without flying. So we focused more on the blue aspect and less on the red because we didn't want to end up just repeatedly hitting our own creatures. So there is a fair amount of blue in this deck and a little less on the red. So let's take a look at what we did. As with most of our Battling with a Budget decks, we end up skimping on the land base because that's where a lot of the money comes from. So we went with Ashen Barrens, Command Tower, Evolving Wilds, Grixis Panorama, Halimar Depths, Island. Is it Boilerworks? Is it Guildgate? 14 mountains. Oh, sorry, I don't know if I said 1 island, but 14 islands. 14 mountains. Reliquary Tower, and Terramorphic Expanse. And I just noticed as I highlighted these, it actually shows the new lands from Amonkhet. And I will say these lands look phenomenal. I just have like this particular island with the sun in the back, and you can see that the glare of the sun coming across that river that's coming down towards the front. And same thing with the mountain, just that the glare of the solar flare of the sun across that left horn looks really, really nice. So these lands I think are going to look pretty phenomenal when they are in the colors that you want and all foiled out and looking fancy. But I digress. Let me continue on with the cards, and then we'll go over why we chose some of them. So for sorceries, we have but one sorcery, a Mizzium Mortars. That's it, the lone sorcery. We want to be casting a lot of things at instant speed. Then for artifacts, we're running an Altar of the Brood, Ashnod's Altar, Chromatic Lantern, Conjurer's Closet, Is It Cluestone, Keyrune, and Signet, a Mind Crank, a Nim Deathmantle, and a Soul Ring. For enchantments, we're running Goblin Bombardment, Goblin Slide, Impact Tremors, Metallurgic Summonings, Pandemonium, Skywise Teaching, and Trail of Evidence. For our creatures, we're running Archaeomancer, Beetleback Chief, Frost Titan, Goblin Electromancer, Inferno Titan, Is It Chronarch, Is It Guildmage, Jorienne Ruin Diver, Ludovic Necro Alchemist, Mindrak Liege, Mizzet of the Ismagnus, Mnemonic Wall, Mog War Marshal, Nin the Pain Artist, Niv Mizzix the Firemind, Pia and Kieran Nalar, Perforos God of the Forge, Scrivener, Siege Gang Commander, Tauren the Sky Summoner, Undead Alchemist, and Young Pyromancer. Now for our instance, you will see it is predominantly blue, but we'll take a look at what we have. We have Broken Concentration, nice counterspell, Cancel, Capsize, Cryptic Command, Cyclonic Rift, Disallow, Dismiss, Displace, Dissolve, Dissipate and Dissolve. I was just chuckling about all the disses. You can do a lot of dissing in this deck. We get Disallow, Dismiss, Displace, Dissipate, and Dissolve. You'll be throwing around them disses to your opponent all day long. Chuckle, chuckle, laugh, laugh. Then we have Essence Backlash, Fairy Trickery, Ghostly Flicker, Mystic Confluence, Reality Shift, Rewind, Searing Touch, Shattering Pulse, Spell Burst, Spell Crumple, Unsubstantiate, and Void Shatter. So we have a lot going on. Some of the cards in hand may seem out of place, like an Undead Alchemist or a Mind Crank, but there's a method to all the madness. So ideally, what we want to do is get out things like our Young Pyromancer and our Tauren. What else do we have in there? The Goblin Slide, the Skywise Teachings, the Metallurgic Summonings. These are all cards that, as we cast our spells, give us guys for free. Well, not for free. Goblin Slide we have to pay 1 mana, and Skywise Teaching we have to pay 2. but Metallurgic Summonings does it for free. Young Pyromancer does it for free, and Talron does it for free. So with those couple of cards, every single time we cast a spell, we're going to get a guy for free. That's why we focus mainly on the blue instance, and rather than red, because that's going to go ahead and give us the ability to play a lot of instants and give a lot of our guys flying. But it's not so much for the flying, it's for the lack of red to not deal that 1 damage to all of our guys. Now, you can manipulate the stack any way we want. We could cast a spell and kick off Tibor and Lumia first, so it deals the 1 damage to everything, and then our creature comes in, but it's still going to deal 1 damage to all the creatures that are already there. So we didn't want to have to nuke a lot of our creatures. So ideally, we have all those things down that go ahead and let us generate creatures, and we have Alter the Brood. So whenever we cast a spell, we get a bunch of guys, they mill a bunch of stuff. So that sounds great all in all. Then you throw in an Undead Alchemist, so now we cast some spells, generate a bunch of guys with the like a Talron. So we cast a spell, Talron generates a guy. Alter the Brood kicks, they have to mill. Undead Alchemist kicks if they milled a creature card, and then we get a 2/2 black zombie, which would go ahead and kick Alter the Brood again, cause them to mill again, and if they milled another creature, Undead Alchemist will give us another guy. So as long as we have Alter the Brood and Undead Alchemist on, they actually have to mill until they hit a non-creature, and we get 1 2/2 zombie for every card they mill. So that's really nice all in all right there. Then we also have things like Mind Crank, that whenever an opponent loses life, that player puts that many cards from the top of his or her library into his or her graveyard. So that's going to be really nice when we have that down, when we have all of our tokens that we're generating and we're giving them flying because of our general. So that'll be very powerful as well. So we swing for 5 in the air and they have to mill 5 cards. You're attacking them on 2 fronts. You're taking away their resources and their life. It's just a 2-fronted attack. But then you add in something like a Pandemonium, where whenever a creature comes in, you can have it deal 2 damage equal to its power to target creature or player. Or Impact Tremors, whenever a creature enters, it deals 1 damage. So then, we have those same guys down like a Talron, and we go ahead and we cast a spell that kicks off our Impact Tremor, so that creature deals 1 damage, and then because it dealt 1 damage, then the Mind Crank kicks and they have to mill. It's just we have a lot going on with things like that, and having down Impact Tremors will also let us automatically kick our Ludovic to draw more cards, and we just have a lot of cool stuff going on with that. So that we have, just by casting spells, we're generating so much value. We cast a spell. Off that spell, we go ahead and we generate creatures. Those creatures generate mill. That mill generates creatures. Those creatures coming in generate damage coming off of our enchantments. And I've actually found Metallurgic Summonings to be an amazing card, as you just throw down spell after spell after spell, and you're getting 3 cost and 4 cost and 5 cost spells, so you're getting 3/3 and 4/4 and 5/5 XX tokens. Really, really powerful. Then we also have the spells with buyback are very, very nice. Like Searing Touch is a 1 red that does 1 damage to a creature or player, and that may seem really, really weak. And most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it will be weak, but it has that buyback 4. So if we have that extra mana, we can go ahead and buy it back as many times as we have the red mana to continue paying the spell for. But then we also have, where is she? Mizzix. So whenever we cast instant or sorcery spell, we get an experience counter, and all of our spells cost 1 less for each experience counter she has. So if you can get her up to 4 experience counters, you can buy back your Searing Touch for free, or you can buy back your Capsize for free, and that's very, very powerful as well. So we have a way to buy back a lot, and we have a way to generate a ton of guys. We also have a way to generate infinite damage, infinite mill. So if we have down Ashnod's Altar that lets us sacrifice a creature for 2 mana, and we have down our Nim Deathmantle that lets us, when a creature dies, we can pay 4 mana to put it right back onto the board equipped to Nim Deathmantle. All we need is a couple guys to generate some mana. So we have like a Beetleback Chief. When he comes in, he brings in 2 red goblins, and we have where is it? Marg War Marshal will do the same. He'll work just the exact same way, where you can sacrifice him, or sacrifice his goblin, sacrifice him. That generates 4 mana. Bring him back with Nim Deathmantle. You can also go ahead and do that with Pia and Kieran Nalaar, and with Siege Gang Commander. So with those 4 or 5 creatures I just mentioned, when the creature itself comes in, they bring some tokens. Tokens make great blockers, and that's amazing. If you have down your Perforos, you'll deal a ton of damage. If you have down your Goblin Bombardment, you can sacrifice them all for damage, but ideally, you cast like your Siege Gang Commander. You sacrifice one of the goblins for 2 mana, and then you sacrifice Siege Gang Commander for 2 mana. Now you have 4 mana. That also triggers on Doom Deathman, so you use that 4 mana to go ahead and res Siege Gang Commander. So he will come back in now again and bring those 3 goblins again. So that will kick off our Alter the Brood again. That will kick off our Impact Tremors again. That will let us generate infinite colorless mana. That will let us generate infinite damage, infinite tokens. This deck is doing a lot of different things in a lot of different ways, and you have the amount of counter spells to be able to do what you need to do as long as you need to do it. And that is a very, very powerful thing. And I mean, we have Displace that lets us exile 2 creatures and return those. Oh, lets us flicker 2 creatures, and we also have Ghostly Flicker, which lets us flicker 2 creatures. So then we can go ahead and we can cast, a counter spell, and we can flicker our Archaeomancer and our Demonic Wall, and when they both come back in, we can take back 2 spells. So we take back our counter spell, and we take back our Ghostly Flicker, and we can do it again and again and again and again and again, and just keep being aggressive with our counter spells and more or less countering almost every single thing they have for the amount of mana we have. But we have, we can generate infinite colorless mana, and that's always really, really fun. We have Chromatic Lantern in there just for fixing the mana, no big deal. So that we can not have to worry about the fact that we're running a ton of basics, because they'll be able to tap whichever color we need. But as you can see, that this deck has a lot going on. It has a lot of synergy. You can generate a lot of creatures, generate a lot of damage off those creatures, generate a lot of tokens, generate a lot of mana. Like this, you can go in so many different directions with this. And that was just with us focusing mostly on the blue side of Tibor and Lumia. You could really focus more on the red side and build a completely different deck and do completely different things. But that's more or less the direction we went with it. So, let us know what you think in the comments. Cards you would take out, cards you would add. I think it's actually a pretty cool general. It's not a card you see super often, but it's a fun card, and it isn't a great type. It's a human and it's a wizard, so you could build wizard tribal if you wanted. You could build human tribal. You could build just blue-red good stuff. You could build like combo-tastic, whatever you want to do, but this is where we went with it, and, we hope Caleb likes it. But this has been Derek with Tap and Turn Gaming. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and smash that notification button. Everything you do helps us to continue doing what we're doing. We really enjoy this channel. We really enjoy bringing you guys content, and we can only continue to bring you guys content if you guys continue to help us grow. And we'll only grow if you like, comment, subscribe, and share these videos. So again, thank you. This has been Derek with Tap and Turn Gaming, and we will catch you later. Thanks a lot, and goodbye.